Michigan is 1 year into producing industrial hemp, and the outlook for the crop for 2020 and the future of the industry depends on who you ask. Once viewed as an in-demand crop and a safe bet to diversify, the number of acres planted this year isn't changing much from last year, according to the Michigan Department of Agriculture and Rural Development's 2019 Industrial Hemp Report.
Based on numbers as of a couple days ago, we've registered 553 growers and have licensed 447 processors. And those numbers are pretty darn comparable to the numbers that we had at the end of the 2019 season. Same thing goes for the acreage. Those growers have reported their intent to plant over 13,000 acres. And for 2019, it was 15,000 acres. So numbers wise, I think we're pretty comparable.
But if you look at the number of people that are planning on growing it in 2020, there's roughly 40% that either are not going to grow it or we're still unsure. So I think that was kind of a big takeaway, mainly because it was something that was expected. I think we kind of knew from the beginning that we were going to overproduce this crop. And by looking at some of those numbers, I think that's showing it. I was actually probably most surprised by the fact that based on the number of people who said they will grow in 2020, we will see acreage increase quite a bit. That part did surprise me. I thought people would maybe stay a little bit smaller for another year, try and work out some of the kinks in their operations. But it looks like the people who are planning to grow in 2020 are planning to really expand and grow quite a few more acres.
For one farm near Michigan's Thumb, the plan is to grow hemp again this year on a fraction of the 7,500-acre operation, dedicating just 30 acres to the commodity, 5 fewer than last year.
But we feel with the quality of the seed and a lot of the things that we've learned over the last year, we're hoping to produce as much or more product, more biomass for the upcoming season, even on a few less acres.
There are several challenges facing hemp growers. Beyond the labor-intensive nature of growing the crop, finding a processor, as well as an end user or market for the commodity, has been difficult.
So there was a lot of people that grew for CBD last year, and we really overproduced that market. So there's a lot of hemp that's just kind of sitting in storage. It was grown, it was processed. People had some high hopes for what they were going to be able to sell it for, and they haven't been able to sell it because either there is absolutely no market and they can't find anyone to take it, or they can't get a price that makes it worthwhile to sell it. So I think trying to find a profitable market for it in the future is going to be a big challenge.
Ruprecht said their farm anticipated the difficulty in finding a processor and began processing their 2019 hemp harvest themselves in January.
Last year, early on, that we felt that the processing side of it is where most of the value is at in the product. We're going to have a lot of people growing the plants, and once they grew it, where do we go with it to get it dried? How do we store it and how do we process it? So processing is what's kind of holding up this industry from taking off. There's been a lot of people grow the product, but not enough processing out there to turn it into the oil and the distillate and the other products that the market is looking for. So we made that investment in equipment, and how we're looking at it is we're certainly going to grow enough to make sure we have product to put through our facility, but we've had a lot of people, we have done processing for other people, and we've had a lot of other people ask us this year about processing their 2020 crop. So we're going to grow enough to make sure we can keep our facility going, but we believe we can do custom processing and keep that place running at 100% capacity without us having to grow any more acres.
Hemp growers in the state are still operating under Michigan's pilot industrial hemp program, which will be in place for much of the 2020 growing season.